All right, everybody, how we doing out there? It's Doc and Mav with ReadySetCrypto. Today is Wednesday, the 9th of February. Welcome aboard. How we doing out there? Glad to see you guys joining us here today. Oh, we got somebody from Bournemouth, UK. Outstanding. I got to look up where that is. I'm not sure exactly where that is, but I will find it. Neat. Let us know where you're coming in from, guys. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up bell so you can, let everybody else know what's going on. Go ahead and subscribe to our channel if you have not already done so. We will kick off in just a couple of minutes here and get you going. We'll be done by just about half an hour or so for today's session. So welcome aboard. We'll get going here shortly. Let us know where you're coming in from. What you got, Mav?
Hello. Looks like we kind of nailed it last week. If I don't want to toot my horn too much, but didn't we say that we're going to see a short squeeze, that conditions were optimal for that, and that was going to push prices higher? Pretty much not even 24 hours after our stream, we saw a nice little bounce in the crypto markets. It seems to have...
Is there any correlation? Do you think we did it?
Oh, I don't know. I think this stream usually crashes the market. I don't want to claim anything to the upside, but
yeah, we're the Coinbase breakers.
We are. I actually, now that you mentioned that, I went back and looked for the past 3 months. Coinbase has gone down 13 days out of the past 90 in some form, login, transfers, trading, their whole application. So I would fully encourage people, if they're still on Coinbase, to at least diversify. Check out some other options out there. Maybe even decentralize, go into some DEX, DeFi type applications. I think you might be happier for it. But yeah, guys, where are you coming in from?
Man, look at we got a huge international crowd today here. We got
nice.
M. Babs coming in from Truckerstan. We have Buck Harn coming in from Arkansas. Let's see, we got Sydney, Australia. We got Stuart coming in from Carluke, Scotland. Greetings. We have Vito coming in from Caracas, Venezuela. We have Barry, Digibyte Barry. We'll get to your chart short. We got Seb RZ coming in from Tampa, Florida. We were down there over Christmas. Going for the Doc and Mav pump. All right, let's see. Miloš from Serbia. The Roberts Takeover. All right, Starkville, Mississippi. Outstanding. Glad to have you on board. We'll get started here in a minute, guys. We will get going. And if you want to play technical analysis bingo, go ahead and get your, get your ticker symbols in, get your pair in that you want me to see. Don't give me the name of the coin because I may not know it. Right, and I'll start searching on that. So go ahead and get your ticker symbols in there, and I'll get ready to do a lightning round here fairly shortly after Mav dazzles you guys with some newfound awakenings in the crypto space. All right, who else we got there? Moving away from Coinbase is no brainer. We got Andrew from London. We have Rich from Orange County. And we have Joe coming in from Ireland, and Buckhorn coming in from Seoul. Not sure where that is. Okay, Digibyte versus BTC. We'll do XRP, USD, QANX. Got it. Luna, USDT. All right, folks. Well, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Mr. Mav.
Alrighty. So before we get into some of the reasons why we think the crypto markets are going higher from here, or at least, have a very good potential of doing so, I wanted to run through some really cool tools and resources for those wanting to do research, wanting to kind of get ahead in this space. And yeah, just cool stuff you should know, especially if you are into NFTs. This will be fun for you. All right, let's do a little bit of a lightning round here because we're going to try to keep today's session kind of short. I think the more we focus on the charts, especially, the better. So I will do my best to get through this without any bloviating. All righty. So one of the first resources I want to, thank you. One of the first resources I want to point your attention towards is CryptoPanic, cryptopanic.com. it is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best news aggregators out there for kind of understanding what's happening in the crypto space and, just kind of what's breaking, and the significance of it too. There's a kind of social voting element to all these news pieces. People can say that, hey, this is bullish or bearish. They like it, they don't like it, etc. So this just gives you a nice, just really confined little look into what's going on in the crypto space, what's happening in economics, etc. And doesn't quite give you the BS factor that you might get on Twitter, for example. So definitely I would definitely put that as like your homepage or something like that if you want to keep in the know about crypto. Here's another one. So what you want to do, especially during times like these, is kind of understand at a macro level what's going on from a sentiment value of the crypto markets. So this has been the Crypto Fear and Greed Index has been the way to kind of track that just at a high level. I mean, you could get a sense of that if you like read people's comments or again look at Twitter. But this is a nice way to say, okay, right now the markets are neutral, both in terms of price action and in terms of kind of sentiment. And this used to be my favorite site to see, this Fear and Greed Index, but there's actually this other one, look into Bitcoin.com. They actually do a nice historical chart here to say, okay, when we definitely have seen the markets rally, there's definitely a correlation to people getting that hopium going, and same deal when the markets sell off really hard, we get down to the dismal state pretty fast. So if you just want to look at these points where people are just, blood in the streets, just fear from the rooftops kind of stuff, you look at those as buy points. Anytime these dots here are dark orange or red, perfect time to be getting into, Bitcoin, into crypto, et cetera. Not necessarily hitting some sort of move into like an altcoin season, for example. It's not always going to be a, perfect analogous sort of thing where like, hey, I get in here, alt moon, something like that. Not always the case, but it definitely precludes some sort of move higher in the markets because markets are going to rebound. They're going to be reactionary to times of extreme fear. So just use a tool like this and you get a nice macro sense of that. Speaking of altcoin season, this is a really cool tool from blockchainsitter.net, which basically asks, is it altcoin season? And right now, no, it is not altcoin season. We are somewhere in between Bitcoin season and altcoin season. And we define kind of those maximums as basically anytime that the top 50 coins, if 75% of them have been performing better than Bitcoin, well, then it's altcoin season. But right now, no one's really standing out. That's why we're right in the middle. So if Bitcoin starts to break out, it starts to lead the charge, we'll see more Bitcoin season. If, opposite's true, altcoin season, you get it. But this is a really cool way to just kind of get a sense as to like, okay, where's the kind of sentiment of things in terms of, is it time to be moving into altcoin season, or is it time to be maybe stacking some sats? Another great tool to just kind of get like a really nice view of, hey, is it a good time to be getting into Bitcoin? Is it a good time to be selling out of it? And this tool is not perfect, by the way. They said right here, at some point, this tool is no longer going to be accurate. Not that it was ever trying to be, but it's a nice way to look at it from kind of a logarithmic sense to say, okay, Bitcoin is right now currently at 44,000. It's still cheap according to this Bitcoin rainbow price chart. Back when we were up at the all-time high of 69,000, nice. That's when we were saying, yeah, it's a bubble. Definitely time to be moving into profit rather than buying at the top. But that's this is kind of the way that markets move, and Doc will definitely talk about this. Just very cyclical. We go back and forth between these. We just bounce all over the place. So just understanding that kind of helps take out some of the emotion aspect of trading Bitcoin, trading crypto. So definitely a nice tool to have. Another way to do that I really like is the most simple strategy there is, as far as I'm concerned, with regards to buying Bitcoin. It's just doing so on a regular basis, taking all the guesswork, all the stuff that guys like Doc and I do, taking all of that out of the equation and just making regular, be it weekly, be it monthly buys of Bitcoin or whatever crypto asset you want at a consistent basis. So for example, if we do $100 of Bitcoin every month, and let's say for the last 4 years, and this is dcabtc.com for dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, we can see that for a majority of that time, you didn't really make much, right? But once Bitcoin started to really rally in the latter half of 2020, especially into 2021, and some of the stuff that we've seen recently, well, you can see that that $4,800 that you initially invested turned into $29,000. And let's also add this or make this a little bit spicier. This is just buying Bitcoin and let's say holding it in a wallet. No sort of interest appreciation added to that mix. Nowadays, you're able to, there's a lot of platforms out there that will pay you a recurring amount of interest for your Bitcoin or other crypto assets. So you got ones like Celsius, you got ones like BlockFi, Coinbase even does a little bit of this, more, they call it staking, but it's all the same thing. Voyager, etc. All of those kind of average, with the exception of Coinbase, all of those average in the 4% range. So if you had done this, if you ran the calculations and then you also had the compounding interest of that 4% every month, that 29,000 that you end up with actually becomes closer to about 100,000. So that should tell you everything you need to know with regard to the power of compounding interest and the power of just, emotionless depositing into a, it's a volatile, but definitely is an appreciating asset class. Another way to kind of look at the crypto markets is price drops from all-time highs. So this kind of gives you a sense as to where a crypto was and where it is now and how far away it is from its all-time high. This is really good for some of the bigger coins out there, but once you start getting into some of these smaller ones out there, you start to see a lot more red. Another tool to see this is the coinperspective.com. So saying like, hey, if Cardano had Bitcoin's market cap, well, one Cardano ADA token would be worth $26, an upside of 21 times. So this helps you kind of do that, like I would say, like you're falling asleep kind of math. You're thinking about your crypto assets and saying, well, if Mooncoin was at Bitcoin's market cap, well, then I would make 200x or something like that. Go crazy with some of this stuff. All right, I'm going to run through the next couple ones here because they're NFT tools. But for those out there who are doing NFT investing or speculating, this should be kind of interesting for you. So the first one I want to point your attention to is Rarity Tools, and it's really good for finding new mints as well as kind of underpriced rares, and definitely where you can see upcoming projects. Another cool one is icy.tools. It's a subscription-based platform, but it gives you kind of minute-to-minute trends in the NFT market. So instead of using OpenSea to watch trends, you can use this to kind of aggregate the data for you. Another cool one is NFT Calendar. This is pretty similar to, I often talk about CoinMarketCal on this channel here as a way to kind of see what's coming up, what's dropping, etc. Just really good place for that kind of data. Another one similar to that is DApp Radar, specifically for NFTs. Again, can kind of see what's going on here, what's trending, all that sort of stuff. This is where the NFT market is starting to head towards. It's like just more market intelligence, more going on. I wouldn't say it's quite to like where DeFi is in terms of, price action and all that sort of stuff, but it's definitely taking on some really interesting traits here. And speaking of, we got Trait Sniper, which is another ranking platform. A lot of these are kind of pay to play, subscription based, but they definitely, if this is what you're into, you can definitely get a lot out of this. Another one is Moby.gg, great for looking up kind of new drops and things of that sort. Ninja alerts, cool stuff. Definitely if you're looking to get into the NFT space, if you're looking to kind of speculate on it, similar to how you might have been with the crypto markets, some of these tools will definitely help you do that. Another one that is kind of interesting is now that Metaverse is starting to really get the training wheels off, really going out there and doing crazy stuff, we're starting to see real speculation and markets prop up around like the land, the digital real estate that you can buy in the Metaverse. So this is a price tracker for the different Metaverse platforms out there. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's even remotely close to being a good idea to be getting into some of this stuff right now. It's definitely like the tip of the spear in terms of where crypto is and what's happening and all this stuff. Definitely very interesting, but be careful with definitely some of that stuff. The last one I want to point out is ExoCharts. And this is a cool alternative to if you're using TradingView like Doc is. This platform has been built from the ground up just for the crypto markets. And it gives you cool stuff like order flow and, just a lot more of this kind of like trade size indicator stuff, wrecked, liquidations, alerts, and net longs, net shorts, just more of these tools that if you're in the equities markets like Doc is, you might be used to using stuff like this, and definitely is something I think you should check out. It's a really cool platform. So anyways, those were some resources, tools you might want to use if you're, trying to get into the space or you're trying to up your game. Some of these will definitely help you get ahead, make more intelligent decisions, etc. But now I'll turn it over to Doc, where we're going to talk about what's going on in the space, why we're seeing the markets kind of sideways right now, but why we think we're going to be seeing a move higher, and what that means for, especially as we're getting closer to some of those fun months like April, which has historically been a Bitcoin positive month, what we'll probably see before then. So, Doc, over to you.
Okay, just me and the schnauzer here. So, all right. So let's attack this from the perspective of what would you do if you're sitting on the sidelines? So maybe you sold out at some point and you've been sitting on cash and waiting for the bear to get over. What do? So one of the first things that you'll see here is that unless you're getting in really early or on the first pullback, let's say you got in on the second pullback here on this move. So this is where the smart money comes in. This is where the institutions usually get in. And this is where the retail gets in over here. So even though this may be a good entry and it's above the 200-day moving average, which is generally implying, longer term uptrend, you may have to deal with what's called a larger time frame pullback along the way. So when you look at this from the perspective of this, you can see the larger time frame moves. So understand that if you don't get the very first move that's over here, the break above this descending trend line where we had the short squeeze, which we're still seeing that short squeeze play out to some degree, okay? But we're going to either get some type of sideways move or maybe even a pullback here in the near future. That may be the next entry that you get. But remember that the later that this is, more than likely what's going to happen is eventually we're going to see some type of deeper pullback, especially as the weekly chart gets into exhaustion, which is not right now. So this could go quite a ways before we start to see that pullback. Just understand that if you're getting in later, expect to be underwater for at least a while. So maybe take that as a trade, wait for the larger time frame pullback before you really load up on this and then play it that way. So one of the things that I talked about today was like, if you wanted to, in our Omnia newsletter, if you wanted to skip out on that whole thing, you'd have to wait almost 3 months to get on that. So understand that you're going to get some tradable opportunities, but this may not be the bottom in the short term that you really want to load up on, okay? So looking at some of the other ones we're getting, we're breaking out above all types of descending trend lines. So this is all good. So I'm going to go into some of the requested pairs that we have. This is Solana. So Solana is broken out through the worst of the selling, right? But understand that this is not a daily uptrend yet. So more than likely you're going to see some type of pullback here, which should form a higher low, and keep moving on up. So understand that if you want the price to move, you've got to have the fear. Fear is what creates these moves. Getting on the wrong side of the price action creates movement in the price. So chasing after this right now is probably not good for Solana. Waiting for the pullback, which may or may not occur, would be a smarter choice, or waiting for the breakout above there. Okay, so that's Solana, which is looking better, but it's still a damaged chart, right? If you look at this on the weekly chart, this is a really bad move, really bad weekly downtrend. This is just a weekly swing up, so it may have quite a ways to go before, I'm going to do air quotes here, it's safe. Okay, next one, buy request. All of these are buy request, and I'll go through these as quickly as I can. And chances are we're going to run out of time before we do too many more. All right, so this is Digibyte, and Barry comes in here patiently every week, waiting for me to praise Digibyte. And unfortunately, this is not a week where I can really offer much solace or comfort in owning Digibyte. Is it near the end of this horrible downtrend? I don't know. I mean, right now it's not doing anything but just coming up a couple of points here off of the lows, which are at 0.00000005 BTC, right? So these are this is a pretty wicked downtrend. If we go out here to even the monthly chart, we're not going to find really anything in here. So I would say if you're not an owner of Digibyte versus the versus BTC, or for that matter really any other currency, wait until you get above the 200-day moving average. Wait until you start seeing the price moving higher before you start to accumulate things like that. Okay, so Barry, hopefully we'll give it a shot again next week, and maybe we'll have better news for you. Here is XRP. This is Ripple. Okay, Ripple has actually made a pretty nice move above the descending trend line. Remember, for those of you that have gone through my fractal energy trading program, there's 4 rules that basically govern the price movement of everything. If you know these 4 rules, you can look at any chart and understand what's going on. And with this one, rule number 3 is descending patterns like this will eventually break to the upside. Now, is this an uptrend? No, it's not an uptrend yet. All it is just a lower high setting up so far. And what we would like to see, more than likely, is actually a pullback. Yep, we want to see a pullback here. We want to get people scared again, people levering up on the bearishness of this. And a pullback at the right place might, just might, offer support that would cause the next short squeeze, because the bears that got chased out over here are just going to be, they're going to be bruised, battered, bloodied, whatever, and they're going to look for a new place to short up here. And so you want to get them overconfident and see if you can get the squeeze happening. But really, until this thing is over $1, I would not be looking at Ripple if you're not an owner of it right now. Okay, the next one I've got is QANX. Okay, and the only way we have this is through Wrapped Ether. This one is kind of a very trendless chart. This one was doing quite well until January came along, because you can see that this one was following a nice trend line, but once it broke that trend line, we have a broken chart. So at this point, we don't really have any kind of an uptrend. It's above the 200, but really very trendless at this point. I would wait until this one starts making higher highs and higher lows. If you're already an owner of this, I would be making plans to make sure, I would say, as long as it's above this swing test at whatever price that is, then I would still be holding it. If it fell below there, I would say you've got a hopeless chart. While the rest of the market's rallying, you've got something that's not being in accumulation. Okay, again, guys, don't take what I say here personally, even though it's hard not to if you own something and if you've invested all your time and money and hope and blood, sweat, and tears into something like that. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to say what the price chart is telling me. You can't trade what you think. You have to trade what you see. All right, next one I have is Luna. Let's go find our Luna here. And if I don't hear any different, I'm just going to do things versus the US dollar. All right, so this is a weekly downtrend. Unfortunately, this is a weekly downtrend. We have lower highs and lower lows along here. This is a weekly swing up, 2 weeks in a row. Okay, this is a good start, but what I really want to see on this one is some form of structure that shows that this is recovering at this point, because obviously we have broken this trend line to the downside, which you can see a little bit better on the daily chart if I squeeze in on this. All right, so this trend line, everything was working so well on this one until it puked out of the bottom of this consolidation pattern, and that occurred in the latter part of January. So this one is a broken chart right now. Still above the 200, which is okay, but it's still a bad pattern. So until it arrests that, there's a lot of broken charts that are out there, guys. So don't, let's see, I think we had one for LTC. I haven't seen a Litecoin request in some time. Okay, Litecoin is another broken chart. It's below the 200-day moving average. It's making lower lows and lower highs. It is not, remember, compare this versus what's going on with Bitcoin. Which one is stronger? Which one is stronger? Well, Litecoin's not doing much of anything right now, right? It's been a nice rally, but it's a broken chart until it starts making higher highs and higher lows. I would avoid until it does that. Okay, next one we have is Hex. And we're going to do this versus Hex USDC. This was one of our rock stars way back here when everything, and listen to what charts tell you. This one was doing great. It was consolidating within this triangle pattern, and then it dumped to the downside, and that was back in October. So this was an early dumper. And this one's still below the 200-day moving average. It's really very trendless right now. I would wait, again, until this starts making higher highs, higher lows along the way. Okay, just we got 4 more here to go over. So ADA, Cardano. Cardano is another broken chart, just like Litecoin that we looked at here. This is still making lower highs and lower lows. This is still below this descending trend line and will continue to do so until it breaks above that. Okay, so if and when it finally breaks above there, look for the next higher low that sets up, and that might be your entry into this. That's about as early as you can possibly make it. Right now it's on the avoid list. Like many, many other coins, there are very few that are actually working well with today's market. HNT versus Tether. So this one you can clearly see this descending trend line, which is setting up here, which is roughly about right there. So it's above the 200-day moving average. It does have, this is a big consolidation pattern. If it's able to break out above, I would say 32, then this may be a good entry on this because it's starting to make higher highs and higher lows. And that may be a very, very early, very aggressive entry is to buy above 32 on HNT. Let's see, Atom. Let's do Atom versus US dollar on Coinbase. Boy, this is a trendless chart. It's still above the 200, which is positive, but there's really no trend on this. So unless you're just going to play within the swings, this is just a massive consolidation pattern, which is more like on the monthly chart. And so this one may take a while before it's ready to break. But if you can spot this making higher highs and higher lows on the daily chart, which it's not just yet, it would have to break above 34 to do that, then you may have something. Okay, last one I have for today is Muse versus Wrapped Ether. Okay, what on earth is going on here? This is, wow, this is a wild chart. This thing is all over the place. This looks like, the beginning of, I wouldn't say a cup with handle because the handle should be much tighter than this. And this is a really sloppy handle, but this is certainly a rounded base. It's been very interesting. It's just it failed to break out above the rounded base. So I would treat this one like this. Want to see it break above that pattern that may be, just maybe, in air quotes here, maybe an early entry into this one. Okay, so with that, we've gone through our list. I apologize if I did not get to your coin. You got to call them in early, guys. You got to get here early and do that. We're going to jump back to the middle there. Let's see if we have any final thoughts and any final questions that were thrown in while we were yakking away here.
It's a good chat today.
It's not called Ripple anymore. XRP is not Ripple. Have they changed it?
Not according to Ripple.com.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
Sure
the chat is always right. So, okay. Okay. I'm going to do just a couple more here, which came in as late request, and then we're going to, that's kind of what I thought too. Let's see. All right. A couple more here. And let's see, what about Chainlink? All right, so we haven't done Chainlink for a while. And Chainlink is just a miserable chart. This is one of our rock stars. Look at this. Guys, when the chart tells you something, believe it. Don't hold on and hope. When the chart breaks a trend line like this, believe it, right? So you had, it offered you a way off here, and it offered you another way to get off back here, and another way to get off over here. And it's been shite lately. There's no other way to say it. This is a trendless chart. Chainlink was doing great. Don't live in the past when you're talking about your assets. Do not live in the past on there. Okay. Let's see if there's any other one. The token is XRP. It's not Ripple. Okay. Ripple is the company. Okay. All right. Actually, let's see. Where do you look to know that a coin is in accumulation mode? Well, the price will tell you everything that you need to know, because if something's in accumulation, then what's happening is the offer is being lifted on here. Just continually, the offer is being lifted. Bid and ask spread is jumping up and up and up, and people are buying at the market. When something is in distribution, the exact opposite is occurring. You can see this distribution, the exact opposite is occurring during when prices are selling off. They're hammering on the bid, and the bid keeps dropping until it finds. It's all auction theory, guys. Just, go out to a farmer's auction and you'll see how prices are set for things. Okay, so let's go back to the middle here. Let's wrap things up for today's session. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming along and giving us some things to talk about. Appreciate your questions and your coin requests and your corrections on the names of the coin. Appreciate that. So, Mav, you got any final thoughts for today?
Yeah, I think we are seeing some interesting news pieces. Russia adopting crypto as currency, and some other, slightly interesting pieces of news out of the U.S. regarding regulations and, where things are going to go with inflation and all that sort of stuff. We are just kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern right now. But I think there's still very good reasons why the crypto markets will rebound from here, and why even if we do see a small downtrend, that this is a time to be looking at the markets holistically and say, all right, well, if the crypto markets are selling off, it's likely that the stock market is selling off in this kind of period that we're in. But I can still take advantage of that by just not trying to catch the falling knife here. Certainly in this kind of uncertain market, we just want to do the best we can to remove emotion and passion from the equation and try to make the best of the times ahead so that we're not getting completely wrecked. I think that's one of the best things you can do in this year. But yeah, if you need help kind of getting started with trading, if you want to learn more about how to get into the crypto markets or how to become more effective, if you want to learn about how to trade more effectively or use some of the resources I talked about earlier in the stream, that's what ReadySetCrypto is all about. That's what we have our free Discord down in the link below, set up all about to help you, get acclimated to the space, learn the tips and tricks from people who have been around for years, and really just kind of take a lot of the shilling and the opinion out of, what should have essentially be, we're just speculating on these things. We don't need to attach tribalism to them, And in addition to that, we also have awesome services such as ReadySetTrade that Doc is running. You can check out his latest video in the bio below, as well as ReadySetVision, which is all about on-chain analysis. The question about accumulation, if you wanted to see what's going on, especially what the whales are doing, are the whales accumulating or are they selling? What are the top addresses for Bitcoin wallets doing right now? That's what our friend Checkmate is really good at, kind of breaking down and using really amazing tools on-chain analysis like Glassnode to show you what's going on exactly in the moment, to let you know, like, hey, maybe the market's selling off, but actually the whales are buying. So maybe that is an indicator to say, pump the brakes if I wanted to sell into the dip, and maybe, take it easy for a bit here. So things like that will help you become a more effective trader, to outsmart the market and get ahead of the investing herd so that you can get more out of this market without, going through as much pain. So that's all from us this week. Hopefully we see another sort of occurrence after we did our last stream where see the market bounce back up, but it's anyone's game right now, and we'll see where it is in a week. But until then, we'll see you guys. Hope you're doing well, and take it easy. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, everybody. You guys take care. See you around.
Bye.